It's me. It's the G.O.C. coming to you live to tape here at Chaos Corner, 25 feet below the surface of the earth. You're here for the revolution. That's right, AEW Revolution. All the results, all the news and notes here with your old buddy. I'll save that to say this because I tell it like it is. I just got finished putting up here on the Guardian of Chaos YouTube channel the AEW Revolution 0 hour pre-show I just put up on the channel. Fans, you're not going to want to miss it. Almost 2,000 videos here on Guardian of Chaos YouTube channel. I cover everything from the AEW to the WWE to NWA to Impact to MLW to New Japan to Ring of Honor to my home at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Fans, one man, unique, unedited, unscripted. No one else gives it to you the way the G.O.C. does. Over 50 years in this industry as a fan, a scout, an agent, a historian, a smark, a mark. That's right, I said it, a mark. And my over 3 decades in the business as a talent, a pro wrestling manager. That's right, in 2 different Hall of Fames, class of 2019, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and the class of 2020, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, along with Mario Mancini, Paul Roma, Paul Perez, and Big Steve Tracy. That's what you get here. That's the relation. Follow me on all social media platforms, and you know what they are in real time. On Twitter, at Big Daddy G.O.C., and the G.O.C. stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, there's 2 accounts. That's right, 2. J Brony, that's right, Jabroni, J Brony, and Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Follow me on Gitter, Gab, Truth Social, Rumble. I cover it all in the IWC. You want facts? No Snapchats, Super Chats, Patreons, paywalls. Reality here from the Guardian of Chaos as my stress reliever and to give it back to you. You can't get where you want to go or even where you are until you remember and look back where you were. Don't look back too long in the rearview mirror. I get it. Recognize it and look in the windshield. Full speed ahead. Stay close to your family, your friends, your loved ones. Stay in faith, not in fear, and walk every day and be the best that you can be in this crazy, insane 2023 world and what's going on. And you know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ is coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. Be the best that you can be. Treat people how you want to be treated. That's the opening monologue here for the revolution at Chaos Corner in the bunker for AEW Revolution last night. It was on a scale from 0 to 10. I'll give you the good, the bad, and the ugly because I'll tell it like it is, and you know that. And I'll say that to say this: a solid 7.5, solid 8. One of the best pay-per-views out there. Well worth the money, well worth watching. And I'm here to break it down to you the next day because everybody did it last night, from Fightful to JD to Jesse to Solid Monster to Joe Cronin to Every Tom, Dick, and Harry to Alvarez, the Observer, the Torch, whoever you want to talk about it. Wrestling Super, the PWZ podcast, the Cheap Heat Productions, the Wrestling Council, all of them. But you're here at Chaos Corner. The old man brand, the over 50 demo god. Let's get right into the revolution. The 4th annual AEW Revolution from the Chase Center in Oakland, California, San Francisco, California. They were at the Cow Palace, the historical Roy Shire, as I've been saying, big time wrestling. Do your research, man. That's what you get here. History, live to tape watch-alongs. Hey, it's Monday morning. I'm happy I'm up and alive today and around my loved ones. You see the emotion and passion. You see we've made changes. That's what you get here. Let's jump right into it. Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Taz are in the booth for AEW Revolution. We jump right into it. I already talked about the one match that was in 0 hour, the pre-show. I just put it up on the channel. Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers over the Varsity Athletes and Ari Daivari in a quite entertaining match. Full crowd in San Francisco, Oakland, if you will. The crowd made the pay-per-view last night. It certainly pushed it along. That's for damn sure. And I'm glad that I can be here live to tape to bring this to you. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's get the subscribers up so we can start going live. Let's have some fun here, damn it. The first match, start of the revolution. Chris Jericho, the JAS, the Wizard, Y2J, the Ocho, whatever you want to say, 50 plus years old. Jericho, an absolute pretty Ricky Starks. I remember Starks back in the NWA. I saw it back then, a hell of a talent. Just was a slight built guy. Now look at him, in great shape. So we start off. Ref Aubrey starts off the first match. This is the first match. 8:05 Eastern Standard Time is when the first official match started off on the pay-per-view for Revolution. And this is the one thing about Jericho. Give him credit, heel, face, whatever you want. Carried this company, been around, a legend, longevity. Got to give him a lot of credit and respect. Had a chance to meet him and talk to him. Another story for another time. And pick a little bit and learn about Jericho back in the early and middle 2000s in the independents. But how crazy. They sing Jericho's music, all these AEW fans and the ilk and the demo. They sing that song crazy, cheering him on. Then he gets into the ring, and during the match, they're booing him. Does it get better than that to manipulate the crowd, ring psychology, emotional investment? Give Jericho credit, a Hall of Famer. Ricky Starks coming out with the taped ribs from the previous assault, as you fans know. So already starting off behind the gun, so to speak. A good match. Again, whether it's Moxley or Jericho or whoever, they always got to give the crowd AEW. I don't know if they're trying to be like the Attitude Era or edgy or whatever it is. They got to give you the finger. I get it. Jericho with the finger, playing up the heel role now. I get it. He misses the lion salt at one point. Big chops between Starks and Chris Jericho. I'm not going to go move for move and be here for an hour and a half and bog it down, but I'm going to go through every match. The knee jaw breaker, a la backbreaker, the backbreaker, jawbreaker, the reverse way on Starks that Jericho did was unbelievable. And Jericho was moving good and as fast as I've seen him in quite some time. He was slowing down a little bit, Jericho, moving good against Ricky Starks at Revolution, and a good way to open up. And again, most people that associate with Jericho in this last 6 months or so to a year, the demos, the angles have gone, the talent, the storylines have really gone nowhere. So sometimes this could be the kiss of death from the legend. But I'll give him credit, moving around, making each other look good. And I was hoping beforehand some of the veterans involved tonight will give the rub, pass the torch, advance the storyline. Let's see what happens and how it plays out. Think about that. So that's what I noticed about Jericho. And the chants back and forth there in Cali, in Oakland. Let's go, Ricky, Y2J. Let's go, Ricky, Y2J. Again, that's what I say about Jericho. So the fans really were a big part of it. And speaking of big, the power bomb Starks put on Jericho, unbelievable. And off the ropes, the big spear, and I'll say that word several times, big, because of big-time wrestling in Roy Shire. Let's give the shout-out. It was a partial spear more than anything. Lay it in there, Ricky. It's the second or third time I've seen him with that spear off the ropes and kind of whiff at it, so to speak. But he did hit it. And then, the thrust kick to the chest by Starks on Jericho. I mean, his little conclave, no disrespect, little sunken treasure, so to speak, it is with Jericho. But that certainly didn't help. And then again, remember what I said during the pre-show and what I said on Dynamite and Rampage reviews and what I said on the pre-show that I just put up on 0 Hour for Revolution. They're supposed to be, JAS supposed to be barred from ringside. No one's supposed to be there, right? Who comes out? So it's all bullshit. The same theme when it comes to the rules and the referees and the lack thereof in AEW, tag teams, 6-man trios, whatever the fuck you want to call it, singles matches, championship matches, barred from ringside. None of it means anything. Takes away from what you're trying to sell out there because Samuel Guevara shows up. Action Andretti shows up. Okay? They get involved. Y2J gets the baseball bat, whatever they call it, Louise or whatever. I don't know. He hits Starks with it. And again, that should have been the end of it right there, but it wasn't. The outside interference. Why is the Spanish God out there? Why is Action Andretti being thrown into this? Starks recovers from the bat shot. And believe it or not, and again, there's always a fuck or a screw when it comes to the JAS and with Jericho. And this is what I was saying earlier in this. But ultimately, Jericho looked good, proved himself well, and a reverse power slam pin out of nowhere by absolute Ricky Starks. And Starks goes over on Y2J, the Wizard, the Ocho, if you will. I like to see that. Ricky Starks with a big victory to open up Revolution over Jericho. Although the interference, again, bullshit I call on there, but I like this match. They must have went about 15 minutes to open up here. So to see Jericho give the rub to Starks, let's hope they continue with it with Ricky, because he started, stopped, stalled, lost a little bit like a lot of guys in AEW right now. And that's the problem with the roster and the talent and trying to include everybody and then missing other people. I get it. Everybody's getting paid, right? So that's the first bout. Big win by Starks. Props to Jericho on that one. We go to a unique, I thought it was a copycat, but turned out unfucking believable. The final burial casket match between Jungle Boy Jack Perry, the king of pay-per-views in AEW. That's for damn sure. Can this guy get any better or more victories or bigger victories or performances in pay-per-views than the Jungle Boy Jack Perry? No Luchasaurus to be found anywhere. Hasn't been around in months. Haven't fucking seen him, and he wasn't here tonight in Revolution. Apologize for the cussing. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and again, all black, sleeveless black with a turtleneck. Christian Cage, what a look. And again, if you followed me, I'm repeating it, I'm saying it. Go back to months and years I've been covering AEW now, what I've been talking about since Outwork Everybody. Christian Cage was signed and came over here to TK and AEW to be the heel, the ultimate heel, and what he could be, and how they've gone up and down with a lot of different people and talent there, including legends. And boy, Christian Cage pulled it off, dressed all in black. You know, he goes into the crowd to start things off. It starts off, not to start off with. He powdered to start off with. You're playing the crowd. You're trying to get him and manipulate him. Nobody better as the ultimate heel, Christian Cage. They finally get into the ring, and it starts off as a hockey fight. Well, you know, right? We're starting off a hockey fight breaking out at Revolution. So that's the way Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. Let me go through. As after I said, he finally gets into the ring, because Christian did go out into the crowd. Again, I like to see that. Give it some time. Let it breathe. Pacing. After they finally get into the ring and start off with the hockey fight, as I said. At one point, Jack Perry, at the beginning of the match, face posts Christian outside. Now they go all the way over the railings and up into the crowd. Give him a lot of credit, and then some nice camera angles, and you see Jungle Boy and Christian Cage brawling out in the crowd up and down the stairs. I like that way to start off, to show the pure emotion, the hatred, and the storyline, and the vitriol that these two have for each other. It's nice to start off early like that, and to be up in the crowd. I'll give them credit for that one. I like that. They finally end up getting back into the ring, and of course, on the way out, the suicide dive, the Topa Suicida, different names, maneuvers. I call it a suicide dive by Jungle Jack Perry. You know what you're getting with Jungle Boy. He's not a big guy, certainly athletic. You know what you're getting with Christian, who's already a Hall of Famer, one of the best tag team wrestlers in the world. Ladder matches, Christian Cage. Stand by, fans. Let me get some beverage here, okay? Thanks for being here. Chaos Corner, live to tape, covering the Revolution. Kick back and relax. You see the emotion and passion. We're back to the casket match. That's what you want to call it. They battle from into the crowd, up into the stands, all the way back around the arena, up the ramp. Christian takes off Jungle Boy's belt and straps him with it, chokes him with it, and whips him like a yellow-bellied dog sapsucker. Not that I would condone whipping a dog, because I couldn't, and I wouldn't. But he's whipping him. Now you see off to the side, as they're panning the area and they're up there on the ramp, you see the grass and the dirt in the casket, a la an old Undertaker casket match. It's a white casket, and the way it's set up as the final burial, I gotta give them credit. The aesthetics, the look, the atmosphere, it looked damn good there for this casket match. Now they're slugging it out. They're making their way over there, Cage and the Jungle Boy, by the dirt. And again, the aesthetics of it and the creation of it looked good. I'll give them credit. It's believable. It's sellable when you put it in the arena, a la as they did the Undertaker. So I'll make it equal there. Well, let's call it what it is. A soap opera. It's a theater. You guys get it. But the amount of physicality and the disdain and the reactions you can see from Jungle Boy and Christian was palpable in the arena. And it came across on the smart TV, the whatever it is, I don't know, 62-inch. Just making notes here. So they're slugging it out in the dirt. Again, the part that I did think was impactful was the whipping and the choking of the belt by Christian Cage on Jungle Boy. At this point, they're slugging it out by the dirt. Let me get everything. They're using chairs. Big back body drop in the dirt by Christian on Jungle Boy outside the casket. At this point, again, Christian with an unbelievable DDT, and he was the first one on the show, believe it or not. And the first one in this match, I'm not sure where it happened. I believe it was with the headbutt. I'm not sure. Maybe a chair. But Christian Cage at this point is busted open in the casket match. And they're going back and forth. Jungle Boy is by the casket. Again, as I said, slugging it out in the dirt. I'm trying to get the different things. At one point, Jungle Boy grabs a chair, grabs the shovel, and he's using that. Jungle Boy was thrown at this point through the dirt, slugging it out with Christian, thrown into the casket. But again, as Shivani read the rules, the casket was never closed, but Jungle Boy was the first in the casket. Cage did throw Perry into the casket at that point. I thought it was over. I don't know how many minutes it was. It was fast and furious and paced. And then, as I said, going through the crowds, in the ring, the guardrails, up the ramp, towards the dirt in the casket. Again, slugging it out. Perry with a jump from the entranceway, from the ramp, a somersault spin top. I guess head over heels somersault onto Christian outside, death-defying. Well, what is the drop there? What is the leap? 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. The risks, I say it all the time. I don't have to say it about Sammy Guevara or Darby Allin. Jack Perry doing it too. Sting at 62 years old is jumping off ledges and balconies. So the business certainly has changed, but that jump by Jungle Boy onto Christian Cage was another big point in the match, in the moment. And to see the way it's set up, I'm usually not big for these type of matches because it doesn't bring wrestling, legitimacy of pro wrestling, but for the storyline and the entertainment part of it, and I get that point. These type of matches have their place, so this really sold. The crowd seemed to buy it. That's all I can go by. And then as my experience, again, although not big on it, I enjoy the way they presented it. The bottom line is Jungle Boy Jack Perry, as Christian is busted open, reverses it, uses the shovel, as I said, and gets Christian into the casket, slams the white door to casket, and Christian Cage is more or less rest in peace. And Jungle Boy Jack Perry, it's nice to see the veteran, the Hall of Famer, as I said about Jericho and Starks to open up. Christian Cage put on an unbelievable performance. The way it was sold, and then to give the rub to the king of the AEW pay-per-views, Jungle Boy Jack Perry with the victory. And again, the funny thing about this is that Jungle Boy was in the casket first. So I like the point of Jack Perry jumping off the stage. That's what turned it around near the end, and to be able to switch it. Just to get the notes straight here. So again, overall, a great match. You always wonder about these matches, whether it's cinematic, whether it's a specialty match, something like this that it's kind of tough to sell to the fans, and especially to an old school guy, or someone wants to keep it in the ring as pro wrestling. I'll say Ring of Honor style, New Japan, traditional golden era. It has its place. I get it. Don't misunderstand me. So that's what you had there. Revolution here at Chaos Corner, the second bout, your winner in the casket, final burial, no Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Where does Perry go from here? This doesn't hurt Christian. And again, these first two matches to see the legends, the older guys, 40 and 50-year-olds, giving it up to Ricky Starks and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, passing the torch here, at least as far as Revolution, when you were worried about it with the go-home shows. Nice to see in the first two matches of Revolution. Let's roll on here on Chaos Corner. We want to keep this definitely under an hour, so don't go anywhere. Stay to the end. What are you doing? I'm amped up for this. I didn't even have an espresso. Okay, let's move on. Revolution. We go on to the next bout. And you remember the confusion from Dynamite with the Elite and the House of Black. We have the AEW Trios Championship. The Trios title, if you will, which I like to say the six-man tag team match. Can I say that? I think I could. 20 minutes in here on Chaos Corner, a Revolution preview, I could say that. Let me get a Halls. Here we go. First off, the entrance. I said it back when I was covering the Dynamite live to tape reviews here on Guardian of Chaos, the mothership, the YouTube channel. I was telling you how much I love the House of Black. And then Malachi decided to bolt. Mental health issues, whatever it was, family issues, WWE, AAA, I don't know. But he's back in their entrance. Brody King, Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart and Malachi Black. Is there anything better in pro wrestling right now as far as what they're trying to sell as their gimmick and what they're trying to do and the way they look? The darkness and the outfits and the masks and the face paint by Brody King, which I'm not crazy about, but huge guys, all the ink, brothers in ink. Buddy Matthews is jacked, ripped, shredded, like shredded wheat. I mean, Brody King is just an animal, a monster with how big he is. And Malachi Black, although slender, agile, like steel, in great shape. Then the whole eye look. So the House of Black, and then throw in the easy on the eyes and the cake of Julia Hart. Give the House of Black a lot. They didn't give this a big lead up. We thought about it as even tag teams months back, but they didn't give us a big lead into Revolution against the Elite. And again, I have to eat crow. 22 minutes in here, I'm going to say it. I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. I'm man enough to say when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I said no fucking way the Elite, this was made for them, by them, for them, the EVPs, the history, everything we know about them. And I said there was no fucking way they would lose this quickly. The way it all happened with the Death Triangle, the best of 7 match, the whole 9 yards, the suspension, Punk, the press conference, the scrum. I ran over all that here on the channel. And I was wrong. And I'll break it down. I have a lot of notes here, but it might save us some time. The House of Black is your new AEW Trios Champions. Let me say it again. The House of Black beat the Elite and is your new AEW Trios Championship at AEW Revolution. Kenny Omega and Buddy Matthews started this up. It was a great exchange. Matthews held well. Omega sold it to everybody and gave everybody their shot and their chance and made everybody shine. And give Twinkle Toes McFinger Band, a.k.a. Kenny Omega, never met you, just playing there on the words and, playing along, making this for entertainment purposes. But this is reality now. Unbelievable athlete, great wrestler. And Buddy Matthews, and he gave him his shot, and they went toe-to-toe. And then Omega and Malachi Black went toe-to-toe. Mat work going back and forth. A lot of the fans really into it. Applause, shaking hands. Not shaking hands, but just everyone enjoying it and appreciating it for what it is and true wrestling. And kind of seeing a different side of the Cucamonga kids, so to speak. And Kenny, I'm just using words there. You know those are used words. It's a joke. It's a word, baby. So that went back and forth like that, and I did enjoy that. And I don't know who the older skeleton-looking guy there, ref is. No disrespect, but he was there. Don Callis, the invisible hand, was down with Kenny and the boys and the Bucks and the Jacksons and Michael, Tito, Marlon, whatever. They're all down together there for the Elite. But I was surprised with this. Shocked all the way around. And I got to admit, I was wrong. So they went back and forth there. Even Matt Jackson came in and went heads up with Brody King, and at one time, none of the rules applied. There is no rules. We know that. All six are in the ring. The referee's as useless as tits on a bull. I say it all the time. I don't know what the hell is going on. But that's what you get there. So that's what was happening here. There's no rules. Both Bucks were in the ring challenging Brody King. Like to see some of the moves, the super kicks. I'll give them credit. You know, it's the same old song and dance, but I can appreciate who they are and what they are, and they're certainly a talented people. And they went back and forth, and it was impressive by all six of these guys to give each other the credit and work with each other. From Omega to Brody King as well. The swanton from the top rope by Omega he really showed why he's Kenny Omega, what people say about him, and no matter what you want to say about him. And I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. Brody King and the Young Bucks had a couple of spots where they went back and forth on each other that really were impressive. And just the visual of these guys, and the crowd was really into it. And this could have been one of the Young Bucks and Omegas, the Elites, better matches so far in AEW. And of course, everyone is outside and they're doing their usual super kicks and flips and flying knees and the big power moves, and the kicks also by the House of Black too. So really, it was an entertaining match. The snap suplex on Malachi Black by Omega stood out to me. Even Julia Hart, of course, sex sells. She even popped up at one time. Hey, listen, we get it with Julia Hart. She's there for a distraction because she's so good looking. I get it. There's always been a place for a pretty face in pro wrestling. I understand that. A lot of people want to see them cakes. I get that. And then, of course, you know that you get, and I keep saying, of course, the old super kick party by the Jackson boys, by the Young Bucks. It is entertaining, but some of the blatant, on both sides, leg slaps. Can we make it not so obvious? I'm not trying to judge anybody. I respect everybody that gets in the ring. AEW Revolution, Young Bucks, House of Black, the Elite. Stand by. Malachi Black even super kicks Kenny Omega at one point. The triple knee to Black by Omega. Again, Omega, this was one of his better performances recently, certainly since he's been back from injury. I'll say that about Twinkle Toes. No disrespect. And I'll say it. I was wrong on this one. The bottom line is Brody King with a DDT into a Malachi Black with the pin. They swapped each other off on Matt Jackson. In the House of Black, Malachi Black in particular pins Matt Jackson, again with the assist from Brody King. Omega looked great. Solid bout. One of their best by the Elite, who I'm not huge fans of. Big fan of House of Black. House of Black won the Trios title. I was wrong. I'll give him credit. That's how that went down. This is not move for move, just trying to break down each match and give you guys something here to chew on. The next match up, again, I was wrong on that one. Really surprised. Where does it leave the Elite from there? Do they split up? Does Kenny go to singles? Young Bucks concentrate on the tag team division again? Who's next up for the Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews and Brody King, the House of Black and the Trios division? There's a lot of guys up for that one. That's something to keep an eye on. So that's what came out of that. The next match is the AEW Ladies Division. Perhaps one of the most solid ladies today in 2023 and has really risen to the top quickly. Talk about people that have risen up like Jade Cargill or your Jordan Graces, Tessa Blanchards, Talia Valkyries, Sasha Banks, Monet. You guys get what I'm saying right there. Jamie Hayter has risen perhaps as fast and as high as anybody in the women's division anywhere in the world against Ruby Soho, who's been floundering. Different look, unique, I understand. Tough gal, has experience. Let's face it, she's been floundering. She's in the AEW match again against a third lady who just transitioned over, been around her whole family history, a.k.a. Paige, now Soraya. Everyone loves her. Heel face, not sure it's my ring, bitch. Really? Why is this a triple threat? I get it. We know about the connection with Britt Baker and Reby with Jamie Hayter. Say what you want about Hayter. You got to give her respect, and brings respectability to women's wrestling, as does certain other ladies. I said Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. I already talked about those ladies. Jade Cargill, I already said it. She's working on it. Jade. I get it. So it's a three-way match. It seems to be, that Toni Storm has been hanging out with Saraya, former NXT gal. We know Toni's history. I talked about it earlier. NXT was the AEW Ladies Champion, interim, this, that, UK. Big things for Toni Storm. It's getting lost in the shuffle here now. The bottom line is Jamie Hayter pinned Ruby Soho. Not a bad match, women's match. Not bad. All three ladies are qualified, grappled well. Soho looked pretty damn good. Saraya, I'm not sold on. I know she's got limitations. I know she's got history. You overpaid for Saraya. You overpaid for Paige. Hayter, I'm sold on. Ruby, okay. She's been underused and hasn't stepped up her performances, but she did last night at Revolution. And then you see Toni Storm, who may be as good as Hayter and better than the rest of them. You see that Ruby Soho kind of turned at the end after she was pinned by Jamie Hayter. Britt Baker jumped in, and then Soho helped out with Saraya. Yeah. So it's kind of like, and I said earlier and alluded to it, and I kind of let it slip out in a spoiler of Toni Storm, and now Ruby turning heel, and Saraya, a.k.a. Paige, ex-WWE girls, Vince girls, Trips girls, whatever. Just saying. Observation. Other people have said it. This is not news. If you do your due diligence and research, you'll understand. Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and her faction. And so we'll see what happens from there. But Hayter retained in the ladies division. That's what we got from there in the turn by Ruby Soho, and Toni Storm jumps in, and Britt Baker jumps in, and we see what's going to happen. What ladies tag team match 6? Well, who knows? That's the ladies division there from the ladies championship. We go on to the Texas Death Match. Again, thanks for being here. We're a half an hour in. You guys know that, right? We're kicking back. We're relaxing. We're taking a break. I think we are. Non-copyright. Revolution review here on Chaos Corner. Live to tape from the bunker, 25 feet below the surface of the earth. We go on to the Texas Death Match. It's Moxley and Hangman Page. It starts outside as a brawl, an unbelievable brawl. This match was bloody, brutal, chairs, razors, weapons, chains. Unbelievable what happened in this match. Everything that you would expect from Moxley and the blood and both guys being busted open. I said busted open. And if you know anything about these guys and this feud, it's a trilogy. It's the third time around for these guys. And you could just imagine with these stars and talent and workers and their past and what's going on, if you followed the storyline of how brutal it was. Wires, the baseball bats, wires being stuck to Hangman Adam Page. As hardcore as you could think of, from the ECW days to the XPW days, to legendary people like Brody Butcher, Homicide, Low Life Louie, whoever you want to talk about of different hardcore guys, Terry Funk, Tommy Dreamer, New Jack, the list goes on and on. Sabu, do I have to go any further? Just the pure Crimson Mask, and you knew this is what we're going to get from this. Page using the barbed wire on Mox. Mox using it on him. I believe Adam Page was actually busted open first, if I'm not mistaken. I have notes. You guys know that. I'm trying to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The bottom line is here, both guys were busted out. We know how hardcore it was. I couldn't imagine being, as I was thinking this last night, people confirmed it later on last night and today, because this will be up this afternoon on Monday. People also confirmed what would it take to follow this, and if you're to match after this. And we'll get onto that. And we'll talk about that. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but it popped into my head as I thought about this and talked about this. So here on Chaos Corner, I don't lie to you guys. I'm going to tell it how it is or what I'm thinking about. That's why this is reality. This is what you get here on this channel. They even used bricks, the spot that stuck out, how Page was hit with bricks and what sells and what works, and Moxley putting Page's hands in between bricks and hitting each other in the head and different weapons that were used. And I understand hardcore, and we've seen it in the past from even Cody to Dustin Rhodes and so on and so forth with people that we've seen here in the past. You just wonder what works and what sells and the brutality of it and what you like and what you enjoy and what you've been involved with yourself and as reality, being from behind the walls and what I did in my life and career. And you guys, that's another story for another time, but that's the personal connection that you get here on Chaos Corner when I see these things and then visually look back on them. So that's why I like to let it sink in. The bottom line is using the wire. And it's been done by Ricky Steamboat before, Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine, Jimmy Valiant, numerous guys if I think back on it historically, but we're trying to keep this within the realm and the framework and the realm of what we're talking about. But the bottom line here is, and I was a little surprised by this, but cowboy shit, the fake cowboy, and nothing against, I'm just saying, Hangman Adam Page using the chain actually choked out Moxley in one of the most brutal matches I've seen in a long time, through tables, outside, blood, everything you could think of, extreme hardcore, and hanging them out and choking them out over the ropes, a la we've seen in the past with legendary heroes in wrestling and different stars and even current this day to try to emulate that with the blood pouring out of both of them. And Moxley, Dean Ambrose, if you will, actually taps out, submits to Hangman Adam Page in the Texas Death Match in the trilogy at Revolution. It really was an unbelievable bout. I will say that. Moxley actually tapped out. I went through the highlights of it. Again, not move for move, but he got choked out over the top rope by Hangman Adam Page, and Mox was done. So I was a little surprised by that. Maybe time for Mox to go away a little bit. I don't know what you do with Page and all his involvement with all the backstage stuff, and who knows. I've always said, just like I've always said, Vince never went away. Vince never left the WWE. Certain things that never happened in AEW and went down the way they were, either if you think about it and with the news that has come out or what will come out. Let that sink in. It's all a work, baby. Just remember, every time we all think we know, you don't know. And that's why Piper always said, just when they think they have the answers, I change the questions. Apropos, right? So that Moxley and Hangman Adam Page up to this point, fifth match in 9:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this one. Texas Death Match, Hangman Adam Page, and surprised with some of the results we got coming out of Revolution thus far, wouldn't you say, here on Chaos Corner? So that's as we move on and we roll on here on Chaos Corner. Thanks for being here. We go to next. Make sure we got our notes correct because you guys are spending an hour here. Looks like we're going to probably go 45 minutes to an hour. Just stay tuned. It's for the TNT Championship. Samoa Joe, who I have a personal connection to, I told you, we even hung out outside the Danbury Holiday Inn or Hotel Hilton or whatever it was, and hung out myself and Mikey Batts and Samoa Joe, and I forget who else was on the card, maybe Kurt Angle or somebody, but we had a great old time. Good old night. Good people. Learned to be on several. I'm just giving you a story. Let me not get off on a tangent. Samoa Joe against, again, I just recently met him a few months back, Wardlow, for the TNT Championship. Man, if they dropped the friggin' ball with Wardlow. Back to the whole MJF thing when he was bodyguard there, and no matter whose fault, but even from then, it could have recovered. And you didn't do it then either, TK. Booker of the Year. Someone says, book these nuts. That's what I have to say. That's another story for another time. Two huge monsters, two big dudes. Doesn't matter if they're faces or heels, really. Samoa Joe, I love Joe, I got to tell you on that. And I've learned to respect Wardlow, like the way they presented him earlier, but they dropped the ball. I'm giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. In the crowd is Powerhouse Hobbs, the Book of Hobbs, because you know they're coming up this week. The winner for the TNT Championship. Now we know Samoa Joe's the Ring of Honor TV champion, I believe. He's dual champion, the two champions, whatever he is. TNT Championship will face Hobbs Wednesday. Who knows where it's going to go with those certain guys and who's going to get left behind or lost in the shuffle and not used or storylines. I get worried and nervous about that, but we'll see how it plays off. So Hobbs is in the crowd. Wardlow and Joe for the TNT Championship. Two big guys. Again, packed crowd in Cali at the Chase Center. The power moves. The sleeper hold by Joe. The chops. A little quiet, I noticed for the first time in the crowd, and I'll get ahead of myself throughout the whole night. For the first time out there, those crumbs out in Oakland. And yeah, they were a little quiet, but hard to follow up what you just saw with the extremeness and the violence and the shock and the awe and the wow factor of Moxley and Hangman. So maybe not the best placement for Joe and Wardlow on that one. But so a little quiet on the crowd, the power bomb on Joe by Wardlow. You knew he had to get at least one in, right? So both these guys going back and forth. The crowd a little lost on that. Not the two boys' faults. The big headbutt by Wardlow as well. Choke sleepers by both guys, by Joe on Wardlow and Wardlow on Joe. Not the Katahajime, but both lay down in the middle of the ring, choker, sleeper holds, whatever you want to call it, by both Joe, then Wardlow. And a little, not super surprised, but a little upset for sure, Wardlow wins the TNT Championship. And let's see if this happens again with Wardlow on what's going to happen. And he's got his second reign now as the TNT Champion and will face Hobbs on Wednesday to see what happens from there with either one of those guys. But it doesn't really hurt Joe. He was the dual champion. I get it. Maybe he's going to Ring of Honor. I'm not saying I'm happy about it. But yeah, Wardlow got Joe, and he's the new TNT champion. Not crazy about the placement. The crowd was a little lost. Not the talent's fault. Not really the way I want it to go, but I understand. Let's see what happens moving forward. I'll give it a chance, but the bottom line is Wardlow in reverse chokeholds goes over on Samoa Joe to become your new TNT champion. And this Wednesday, it'll be Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs. And I met both of them on October 28th, 2022 at the Mohegan Sun along with the wife. Yeah, it doesn't get better. Does it get better than that? I don't think it does. So that's your new TNT champion. We go on to the seventh match of the night, and I noticed the ref Aubrey's back in. Seems to be in on these crazy matches and can't control anything. Nothing against you, man, but the whole rules and ref, and you see the similarities here in the crowds of what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm Italian too, so I talk with my hands. The four-way match for the tag team titles. That's right, the four-way match between the tag team titles. Ref Aubrey. It's the ultimate heels lately in the tag team match. The defending champions, the Guns, Austin and Colton, with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, Max Caster and Bowens, and then Slapnuts, Jeff Jarrett, and Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, along with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt. The whole kit and caboodle with that group right there. It gets a little old, my friends, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly here on Revolution. Against Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Now there's four of them. You guys get it, right? It's for the tag team titles. So there's a lot going on. So at this point, and you see why we're 45 minutes in. At this point, it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by the time this match hits the airwaves before the 60-minute Iron match of MJF and Bryan Danielson, which I may do on a separate download so I can get this out. That's what I think I'm going to do. So we're at the seventh match, the four-way match in the tag team titles. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that leads into the main event of MJF and Danielson for the AEW World Heavyweight title. So that's what we're going to do. We'll cover this first, though, so stand by. We'll do this in a three-parter. We're 45 minutes in here at Chaos Corner. So I have the stamina. We're having a good time. The Guns that claimed Jarrett and Lethal, Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Again, you know there's everybody outside from Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass, to Zippy the Pinhead and Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay ends up interfering at some point, you know that. Jay Lethal and Jarrett, hey, listen, they're growing on me. Jarrett's a Hall of Famer. Jay Lethal should be in the Hall of Fame, the way he works. And these guys are really starting to grow on me in tag team, being forced down your throat, but there's not much going on in the tag team division. Let's face it there in AEW. The Guns. I wanted to talk about this. Good heels. Great crowd reaction. They need work. They're green. I'm no one to really judge anyone. I'm just giving you my opinion, giving you the deal, telling it like it is, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Good workers, good heels. The crowd reaction, I like it. They learned well from their daddy, I guess. So, obviously, Zippy the Pinhead, giant Satnam saying, listen, no disrespect. You know it's entertainment, parody, content creator. He throws Daddy Ass, Scissor Me Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn out of the ring at one point. Danhausen, who I will say, for perhaps maybe the second time, but definitely the first time, showed all the doubters out there, just like Orange Cassidy did at one time, I'll admit it, that he can actually wrestle if he works on it and puts some time in the gym. Yeah, I'll give him his credit on that one, Danhausen. In honor of Danhausen, I'll put it back and throw it back to my behind the walls and how I earned this. Give Danhausen credit. He pulled off some maneuvers in the ring that it shows that he can do okay when he wants to, and he's not the joke team and comedy with him and what Orange Cassidy can do, who can work when he wants to, but wants to pull out the comedy act, I guess you want to call it, of what he does in his character. Apparently, there's no rules in this match either. I've said it before. I don't know what the fuck's going on. No disqualification, no rules. Aubrey doesn't care. There's no two refs. You know, Billy Gunn does the famous sir and the suck it on Satnam Singh, and the Guns with the double nut shot to their old man. A lot of the different family line stuff going on there. Jarrett breaks out the guitar. You know, he's playing Willie Nelson. He's always slap nuts. I feel like I'm in TNA. Thank God he's growing on me, but I gotta tell you, let's not get crazy with Jeff Jarrett and with the feeling there. What are you gonna bring Dixie back to? So at one point, he doesn't even end up using the guitar. Aubrey gets the guitar somewhere out of, I don't know what's going on. Jarrett Double J even had a spot with Aubrey. If it's not a bump, why are you... It turned into be what I thought it would be with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, but with Jarrett and Aubrey. So a little comedy things, I'm not going to complain that much. I'm nitpicking. A nice double team maneuver, and they end up pinning, the Guns end up winning and retaining the title. So all that from Chicago on down, what happened with Swerve and Keith Lee and the Acclaimed, and everybody loves the Acclaimed, no they don't, and Max Caster, and have you ever went over a friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good? I mean, the macaroni saga, the peas are moist, and the chicken tastes like wood. So you say, that's it, I gotta leave this place. I don't care what these people think. I'm just sitting here making myself nauseous with this ugly food that stinks. Boy, did Acclaim just drop off the rock too? I mean, the bottom line is the Guns retained. They pinned Danhausen. I just didn't get the whole spot with the guitar. What you did with the flip-flop with the Acclaimed, when they should have won the title, they didn't. And then they lost the title to the Guns. And then the whole Swerve and Our Glory thing, we're over that. We're past that. And then losing the titles to the Guns. And, hey, listen, I love the Guns as heel teams, and out of all these four teams that were in that four-way, I'll take the Guns all day as the tag team champions. With that being said, as the Guns were being interviewed in-ring, which I like that effect, but here's Renee Moxley Good. Yeah, I'm stealing that one. She's interviewing the Guns in the ring, and out comes the the old Midnight Express and Jim Cornette theme song that goes for you know who now in 2023. FTR. That's right. Dax and Cash are back, and I don't know what that means for anything. There were rumors out there. I'm not trying to follow anything. I moderate 7 days a week for 6 different podcasts, from hundreds of thousands to hundreds. But FTR is back, so that means good things. We'll see what happens. The tag team division has been weak, has been suffering. So just for that, it's good to see FTR back. The bottom line is the Guns retained, FTR is back. That's what you get at Revolution here at Chaos Corner. And again, this is, let me just get to my notes here before we get on to, and again, I'm going to split this up into a third part, so don't go anywhere. What time is it? It's early. It's like not even noon time. So I'm going to go to AEW Revolution, MJF and Danielson, the main event from last night here on Chaos Corner. Don't go anywhere. We just came out of an unbelievable matchup because you know why? FTR is back. So I'll say that to say this. Don't you dare miss it. Well, come on back. I'm not done yet. MJF and Danielson, 60-minute Iron Man match. Most falls within the hour.